Hey guys, it's Crazy M, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about Battlefield 4, Crysis 3, maybe Black Ops 2, just a tiny little bit. And even though there are not really specific things I can talk about, I just have a couple of rumors that I want to talk about, and I want to get a few thoughts out of my head. So let's talk about Battlefield 4. The first thing is, which is pretty obvious, it's gonna be released in the autumn of 2013, which I think is a solid date, so that's gonna be quite true. The beta is gonna be before it, so no surprises on that one. The next thing that is said is that it's gonna be available on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and also on the next gen consoles. So yeah, I think that will be true because they're kind of announcing the new consoles for quite a time, and I think that this will be a true thing. And as far as this text goes that I found, it's also going to be one of the first games for next gen consoles, and I think that could be true. Now here's a big thing that's gonna be changed according to that stuff that I read. It's not confirmed, but as far as this goes, it says that the commander mode is coming back to Battlefield 4. And that is quite a big change again, and I think I'm gonna like that. I think that's a good change again, and so we're gonna be looking forward to that. Now there's some stuff that's not that important, just some little small things. One thing though that's gonna be quite nice, I guess, is a little tutorial for new players, which I think could help some of them quite a lot. So there's some other facts here. The first one is that there are gonna be three fractions: Russia, USA, and the new one is gonna be China. And I think that could be quite nice. I actually would like that, I guess, because sometimes it gets a little bit boring, always playing two fractions, always Russia, always USA. Maybe China is gonna be a good thing. I mean, we always see a lot of Chinese weapon in the game, like the whole QBB and QBC series is all from China, so I think that could be quite good. Now there's one point that I'm not really sure about, but it says there are gonna be female soldiers in the game, and yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure about it. I mean, it's reality that women are in the military, but I'm not sure if they do it. And one thing that comes to my mind is, like, can you choose then between a woman and a man? And you know, this kind of gets the game to a kind of level where, you know, you have all these different characters and you choose from them just to look good and whatever, and I don't really like that, so I don't know how's that gonna work. So now some technical aspects which are quite interesting. So Battlefield 4 is said to further be running on the Frostbite 2 engine, which is not really surprising because Battlefield 3 was the first game with this engine, and so I think the next game will be far better and more polished on that engine. And it's said that there's an internal demo video at EA which shows that Battlefield 4 already has the quality from Battlefield 3. And so if that is true, that's quite a big thing, so we're gonna expect a really good game if that is true. And it's also said that Battlefield 4 is gonna use the Frostbite engine to up to 80% of its dang, gosh, I can't think of the word. However, it's gonna use up 80% of the Frostbite engine, and Battlefield 3 is only using it 30 to 40%. So yeah, I think that game will definitely look good. Some other things that actually it's said that the new consoles are gonna support up to 64 players. If that is true, that's gonna have a huge impact. I think lots of PlayStation and Xbox players gonna play that game, because at Conquest, as we all know, 64 players really makes a big difference. It's a lot more enjoyable on Conquest modes with more players. The last thing, it's said that it again has a modern story like Battlefield 3, and it's gonna be quite something about the same thing. And so yeah, I think as far as those informations go, it's not gonna be a Bad Company 3, and it's not gonna be something like, it's not gonna be a remake of Battlefield 2142. So yeah, I don't know. So that kinda, you know, I would have loved a little bit more of a change around and with a new title and not kinda the same thing again. But maybe they can make a good and a fresh one out of that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, it's a long time till there. We got all the new DLCs coming out first, so just a couple of thoughts from me here. So yeah, I read them and just want to get them out there. So now I want to talk a little bit about Crysis 3, and I was able to get an alpha key, which I guess quite a few people were able to because it distributed many of them. But anyways, so I wasn't able to play that much, mainly because the servers are most of the time empty. I don't know why, but at the end of that alpha, you know, the servers were full, and the last 2 days I could get a little bit of gameplay, but I can show it because it was forbidden. But anyway, so I don't want to talk about too much about the game. I mean, it's pretty basic. You got 4 classes, it's all gunplay, there's not too much vehicles. I mean, there's a pinger in that game mode, that big alien that you can control, but it's nothing too big and nothing too special, so it's more like an infantry based game. And the game mode that was in the alpha was something like Drop Zone from Call of Duty, where alien pods randomly dropped on the map and you had to capture and defend them, and whatever team defended most of those alien pods won. So nothing too special here. I mean, one thing that's a pretty big part of the Crysis is always that you can go invisible, and you have those different modes like armor and invisible, and you can sprint fast and you can jump really high and all that stuff. So that's making the game quite a bit of fun. But still, I think, you know, the multiplayer from Crysis 1 was way more interesting to play because it was a little bit more like Battlefield, large open maps, and you bought your vehicles with the points you earn and all that stuff, and I really liked that. And I think with the Crysis 2, I haven't really played the multiplayer, but I think it was quite similar, you know. It was also infantry maps, and I think then the multiplayer in that way is not gonna really stand out of the crowd, and especially not on Crysis. I think it's never gonna be that make a huge step forward, and I think I would like to see the Crysis 1 multiplayer again because it's a really neat concept. But yeah, so I mean, it was fun, but for me it didn't feel really like it's gonna make a huge difference on the market. I mean, maybe they're not even trying to do that because Crysis always kinda builds around a good campaign as well. So yeah, that's my thought on it. I mean, it was quite a lot of fun, but as I said, nothing too special, and it's not like I'm gonna be like, yeah, I want to play multiplayer. It's definitely not what I felt right there. Last thing now is just a few sentences about Black Ops 2, and there's nothing really I want to say. Just that I think I'm not gonna get the game simply because it isn't really my cup of tea, and I'm not really having the time to play it. But I will play zombie mode over if the friends plays, and we're gonna play the shit out of it. But I just want to say that I actually like what I see from all the gameplays that are up now. That game looks pretty neat, it looks fun, it looks improved, even though it is still the same engine. I mean, I can't say anything, but I think some of the aspects is really kind of made me not really like the game. Like, it was colorless. I mean, seriously, it was colorless. It looked awful in my eyes. It looks a lot better and it looks a lot clearer and all that stuff, and I still think it's not like that team-based and tactical, yeah, like Battlefield 3, but I think it can be a lot of fun. I always said that Call of Duty is more like a game that's more for fun, you know. You run around, you shoot big ones, you don't really have to think that much. In Battlefield 3, for example, you have to think a lot if you want to succeed in those. In Rush, not that much, but in Conquest even more. Like, I think there's a lot of thinking into Conquest, and so yeah. I don't think the Call of Duty is a bad game by no means, but I think that's just my opinion on it. And there's also a couple of things that I want to say now. It's like, you know, Battlefield 3 is like the main game for a bigger tactical shooter. Call of Duty is more like a arcade kind of fun style, and I think those two are pretty much kind of the two big titles on the market, and nothing is really gonna stand up to that. And that's what I meant talking about Crysis 3, because when you look at Crysis 3, you know, yeah, it's not too special, and I think a multiplayer mode like Crysis 1 could have really made a change there. But yeah, so that's just how it is, you know. And so anyways, yeah, so that are just a couple of my thoughts. There's nothing too special about it. I just thought I made a video about it because I wanted to talk about it. And yeah, I wish you a nice day. If you liked my thoughts, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. And I got a new attachment guide for a M5K coming up. It's gonna be up pretty soon. And yeah, so I wish you a nice day, and I'll see you next time.